Hey guys, I'm back in the shop by myself tonight. His bike's done, that's taken care of. Now to my bike, which I'm probably gonna end up selling because I'm way too old to be riding a dirt bike, but I ended up trading his little green KLX for this CR250, which the bike's in really good shape, and it's in fantastic shape. But it had a couple of little maintenance issues. The biggest one being it runs fine when you get it running, but it was hard to start. And on these older CRs, it's valve adjustment. I've already popped the tank off. I've popped the valve cover off. So you can see in here, I got the valve cover off. I'm gonna try to set y'all up where y'all can see what's going on. I don't have a whole lot of room, but if I can set y'all up here, maybe I can find a good place to set you where you can see what's happening. We're gonna measure valves. Maybe I can sneak this light in through here. That's not terrible. All right. So we're gonna measure valve clearance, and then I'll show you pulling apart the top end or the cam off so that we can re-shim the valves, because that's what needs to go on. So what you want to do is you want to roll this cam here until your lobes are pointing backwards. So these are your lobes here, here, and here. This is an intake, and the center one's an exhaust. So I'm just gonna roll this cam just about right there. And then you can't, it's hard to see on here. Once I take the cam out, you'll be able to see. But right underneath this lobe and this lobe, that's where your valve is. So I'm fixing to measure the intake valves. There's supposed to be there's a spec on the intake valves. So the intake is supposed to be 10 millimeters plus or minus 0.10 millimeters plus or minus 0.03 millimeters. So I've got a stack of feeler gauges here, so I'm going to find that spec 127, so that's really close to 0.13. So you're supposed to be able to stick this underneath here. Yeah, that's not going at all. Not at all. Let's try this one. That one is not going at all. So intake valves are too tight. So I'm going to pull out smaller ones, and we're going to see if we have any clearance on any of the intake valves. This one, if you can tell, this one's just like paper. It's tiny. It's a 0.038 millimeter or a 0.0015 of an inch. So it's tiny. So that's my littlest feeler gauge. Does it slip under it? Oh, it does. So we do have some clearance. We have no clearance on this one. Okay. So the gear side of the cam doesn't even have the clearance for that. So I'm gonna write that down right quick. And then we'll measure the exhaust. Okay, I got a 0.002 through that side. And that side. Okay. So let's see if I can get a 0.003 through there. Okay, it looks like the 3 is not going. And it's sticking there too. So both my intake valves are at 0.003. Or actually at 0.002. So I'm gonna write that down. Now, the intake, the exhaust side is actually up here. And it's got one roller with the cam lobe in the middle, a roller, and it splits and goes to these two. So I want to make sure that the cam's in the right spot. I've got a little play. It looks to me like I'm gonna roll it over again. I'm trying not to get it on the decompressor, which it's on the decompressor. There. So now let's see how much slop I got in the exhaust side. The exhaust is supposed to have 0.006 plus or minus 0.001. So 5 to 7 is basically what it's supposed to have. So here's a 7. 7 definitely goes. Yep, 7 goes for sure. So let's keep going up until we can't get one to go under it. That's tight. Let's go back down. Let's see. That's at 0.008. So they're both at 0.008. So I'm gonna write that down. So the exhaust valves are, let's see if we got you. The exhaust valves, if you can read, that's my specs. The exhaust valves are at 0.008. What happens on these engines is the valves become, over time, they'll get closer to the rocker arm or the cam, and they'll go out of spec. Closer, not farther away. So it being 1/1000th over spec, which is 0.6 plus 0.001 would be 0.7. Right now I'm sitting at 0.008. I don't think I'm going to worry about the exhaust. But I definitely got to worry about the intake, because my intake's at 0.002. It should be quite a bit more than that. So I have to pull the cam out of it and show y'all what that entails. On these dirt bikes, you pull this out, which that's going to show you your bottom timing mark, and then there's 2 timing marks on this cam. You line all them up, and you'll have timed your engine. So let me get some Allen wrenches. These ain't the easiest things to kick off. I'm gonna pull the spark plug to make it easier to get the dot bed center, because it's just ridiculous. Cool. That sucker has a tiny little spark plug in it. Now can I roll it over easier? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now we're on top dead center. So now what we can do is we loosen this off right here. Okay, that is your chain tensioner. So let me go get an 8mm wrench. I'm gonna loosen this chain tensioner off. I'm gonna take this bolt all the way out, and then there's that bolt's out. And then inside here, there's a little flathead screwdriver. Let's see. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it with this one. I might be able to. I dropped you, and then I actually broke a piece off my camera mount. In all actuality, I broke a piece off Barrett's camera mount. So he's gonna be real thrilled about that. Anyway, let's see. So that in there, I got that is in there. It's loosened off. So now what you do is you take these caps off of your cam. Cool. Oh, kind of tight. I don't think they're supposed to be that tight. Doing this while recording is the camera's in my way, but I want to get y'all a good shot. All right. So you take them off, and you can kind of take these bolts out. Now these caps are supposed to just come off. You just, ooh, you wiggle them. Now, this little bitty piece right here, this piece, goes inside your cap. You do not want to lose that, or drop it down inside your motor. Both of those ideas is really bad. But I got this one, so we're good. So I'm gonna put that there. Let's see if we can wiggle this one off. Come on out of there. Sorry, I'm gonna have to move y'all for just a second so I can get my hand in here good. There we go. Yeah, that one fell off too. Okay. Cam caps are off. Now, you want to get you a little piece of wire. So the cam can come out now, but you don't want to drop your chain in the motor. So what I'm going to show you is you kind of pick up on the chain and the cam. If you slide this over, it helps. Then you just kind of roll the chain off. Pull your cam out. Now I got a hold of the chain. And I'm gonna take this little piece of wire and I'm gonna hook it. And then we're gonna go to somewhere out of the way. And just bend it where it holds the chain up. All right, so now that the cam's out of the way, these right here are called buckets, right here and right here. That is what, you pull them off and then the shims are underneath those buckets. So let me get a magnet. Pull the bucket out. Ooh. Ah, look, the shim stayed in the bucket. Okay, that's cool. Yep, shim stayed in the bucket. The shim actually goes in that little recess right there. But since I put the magnet right on it, it pulled the shim with the cup. See, that one didn't. So what, see that shim still in there? So watch, I'm gonna pull the shim out. Now the shim's out, there it is right there, little bitty shim. All right, so I'm gonna do a little measuring, measure what my shims are, and then I'll do a little math, figure out what shims I need. And that's gonna be it for tonight because I don't have the shims. But I will bring you back and show you when I put it back together. Anyway, thanks for watching, like and subscribe, we love you. We're just doing maintenance on dirt bikes these days. We are going to get back to the gold truck soon. We got some pretty good plans for it. But as of right now, we're just doing dirt bike stuff. Anyway, I love you guys. We'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey guys, I'm back in the shop today. I had a buddy that had some of them shims. So this is the next day. I was able to get them shims, and it's great having buddies that work on things that you work on too. And so he had some shims already. So we're gonna put this bike back together and hopefully hear it run. So here we go. So the first thing we need to do is put the shims down back in these little holes, okay? So I'm gonna grab the shim. I'm gonna place it down in this right here. Perfect. Then you drop the cup on. Make sure everything's clean. Drop the cup on. Get it down in the hole. Come on, go in your home. Go in your home, cup. Okay, it doesn't want to go in its home. I might have to fight with it a little bit. There we go. All right. So that one's in. Now let me grab the other shim. We'll do the same thing. Okay, that shim's in. I'll put this cup on. Come on. There we go. All right, cups are in. That's where we need to have 12 hands. So I'm gonna pull this chain out. Get this wire out of my way. We're gonna wipe down all of this. Then we're gonna sneak the cam back in here. Oh, you don't want to drop it like that. And then remember, we got to time it. So you want to put the chain on the cam tensioner side first. There we go. And then, of course, it's going to be off. Unless you just get super duper lucky. Which I'm probably not that lucky. But that's okay. So let's look at it. That's where it's supposed to sit. So let's look at it. I'm gonna go get a flashlight because that would definitely be handy. There's Lucas's bike. Got a flashlight over here. We're getting Lucas ready for a class. And I'm trying to get this bike ready to sell. So what we want is, there's a notch in here. Yep. It's right. The crank didn't move. And then there's 2 notches on this camshaft. If you can see, let me see if I can hold a bunch of things with one hand. See this notch right here? There's one across from it over here. So the cam needs to rotate forward because that line is supposed to be parallel with the head. So I need to rotate the cam. Let me see if I can figure out how to set y'all up, or maybe you can see what I'm doing. And of course, nothing on this bike is steel, so getting the light to be where I need to be is troublesome. All right, so we'll pick this cam up and we're going to try to move it one tooth. All right, so now that we got the cam in the right position, we're going to put our cam caps on. What's that? Alright. Alright, so you have to be really careful. We got them on. But you have to be really careful to get those little bearing keepers. Remember the ones that dropped out of the caps? You got to be really careful to get them back in place on the bearings and in the caps just right, so that your cam doesn't walk back and forth. So you got to make sure of that. But I got those in the right position. Now we can put our cam bolts back in. I'm sorry, our cam cap bolts back in. So let me go grab a torque wrench and I'll bring y'all back and we'll torque these things. Hey. All right, so these 4 bolts right here, this one, that one, and that one. Sorry, just gonna drop y'all anywhere. 142 inch-pounds is what they're saying is the spec. So that's what we're gonna go to. 142. So I like to at least snug them up first. Get them started to be snug. That way everything is seated in its correct position and all that. It's kind of what you want. Let me see if I can back y'all up just a little bit. There we go. And then we'll... Okay, that's a 142. There we go. Yep. Last one. All right. Torque back down. So, now that that's back on, what I'm going to do is grab my feeler gauge set, and if we recall, my spec is 4 thousandths plus or minus 1 thousandths. So I'm gonna grab a 5 thousandth shim pack, or a feeler gauge, and I'm gonna see if we can run a 5 thousandths through it. If I can, we're good to go. Oh yeah, look at that. 5 thousandths is great. It drags a little bit, but not bad. Oh yeah, that's way better than the 2 that we had beforehand. So, we're good to go there. Now what I'm gonna do is undo this, the screwdriver I have right here is holding this. There's a little flathead screw in here that holds tension on the cam chain. That's your cam chain tensioner. I'm going to undo that so that we have tension on the cam chain. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, now the cam chain's tight. I can put my little screw back in the back of the tensioner. We'll tighten that up. I can put my little plug back in this window right here. Well, if I can get it started. Come on, baby. Let me get my Allen wrench. Maybe it'll help. Oh yeah, look at that. Crap. I didn't say the S word. Now I'm gonna have to go buy another one of these caps. Wonderful. Because I broke that one. Boy, that's nice, ain't it? I'm going to put that back in here for now. But I will buy a brand new one of them. Hey, it's a plastic cap, so watch out when you're torquing that. You don't over torque it, because you'll snap the flat off of the cap. You don't want to do that. So, I have to buy another one of these. So, maybe watch out when you're putting that back together. Oh, next thing I want to do before I button the top end up is I want to look into the cylinder and make sure everything's good in the cylinder. That's one of the the best things I know to do for it. It'll tell you a lot about what's going on in your engine. If you can look into the cylinder, and I just happen to own a bore scope, so it's quite nice. So this bore scope, it's a Viver bore scope, and you're actually seeing out of this right here. And if you look at it, so on this, there's a dial on this part. If I turn the dial, you can watch the end move. So it's pretty crazy. But the good thing about it is you can put it down in a cylinder, then you can inspect the cylinder. So what I'm going to do is rotate the engine to where the piston is down. It should be somewhere close to there. I'm going to wipe off my camera. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm going to stick it down in the spark plug hole. If I can get it down through there. There we go. Okay, let's see if I can look at anything. There's my cylinder walls. They look good. Can y'all see that on camera? Oh, I bet you can't. Okay, well. My cylinder walls look good. Top of my piston looks good. I'm gonna see if I can get down here and look at my valves. Okay. Valves are looking good. So, let me see if I can give y'all a good shot of this. So I went down in the cylinder, and I'm actually looking back up at the top of my valves. I don't know if I can get you a good shot. But that's what I'm looking at. Let me see if I can turn this thing around. So see, I can look at my valves. I can look at my cylinder crosshatch. If I move the screen like this, kind of got to play with it because I'm trying to do 7 things at one time. There's my cylinder crosshatch. It looks like I got a little dribble of water. I may have some water in the gas. There would be the top of my piston. Sorry, I'm trying to hold 7 things and it's hard to make it work out. Let's see if I can do this. So that's the top of my piston right there. And then if I turn it, you can see cylinder. So everything's looking pretty good. So I like it. So I pull that back out. We're going to put the spark plug back in. That is, if you're working on vehicles, that right there, very, very handy. Boy, you can find out a lot about one quickly with this. It cost me about, I think, 80 bucks, 90 bucks from Vivor. And it's a fantastic tool to have. So I'm gonna put my spark plug back in. Give her a little bit of tightening. All right, spark plug's in. Now valve cover can go on. Or you can do valve cover first. It doesn't really matter. But I did valve cover last. So that goes that way. This valve cover gasket is a reusable gasket. Make sure you get all the dirt off of it. If you get any dirt on it, make sure everything's clean. You don't want to put dirty stuff back in your engine. So you just kind of press the gasket down. It's got a little groove it fits into. If you're lucky, it doesn't fall out when you go to put it back in here. If you're not lucky, you got to fight it, which I might have to fight it. I don't know. You want to make sure everything's out of the way or nothing can snag on nothing, because it's not the easiest thing to put in. I mean, it's not difficult, but it falls off. And you gotta try and get it in here correctly. Yeah, the whole thing's falling off. So what I'm gonna do is put it on, oh yeah, because it was around that. Now I'm going to see if I can manipulate it and get it to go where it's supposed to go. All right, so we're going to try another trick that I've learned. I'm going to take it back out. We're going to put some grease on it. Just enough grease to hold it into your valve cover gasket, so that it stays while you're putting it in there. So get you some super tacky grease. Kind of just put a little bit in your valve cover gasket. Let's see, can you see what I'm doing? You don't need much. Every so often, just put a little dab in your valve cover gasket. See, like, I'm not using much. Just put a little dab in there. That way the gasket will stick to it when you force it down in there. Let it hold it while you position it. So, get your valve cover gasket, set it on, and then it's supposed to stick down like this. It's supposed to go in this little groove in your valve cover. Then wipe off the excess inside and outside so you keep everything looking good. And then try to set it down in there. Being very ever so gentle.
I got her.
All right. Then you can put your 2 valve cover nuts on. Bolt them suckers down. You want to make sure you don't pinch your valve cover gasket. So you want to look around the entire perimeter and make sure it hadn't come out anywhere. While you're tightening these down. All right. So the perimeter of my gasket is good all the way around. There's a little hose you got to put back on up here. Then snap your coil wire, your spark plug wire back in place. Yeah. All right. Now it's just bolt up your tank, your seat, and then try to start it. So give me a minute, I'm gonna go wash my hands and then I'll bolt up the seat and the tank. All right, so gas tank can go back on. This has to snake through here. And then your gas tank sits down there like that. Put our fuel line back on. There we go. Tighten this down. Turn our fuel to on. These bolts go through here. There's one. Here's the other one for the other side. Okay. Top tank bolt. Which I think is this one, which is a 10. And then 2 seat bolts. So as you look, my air filter's clean. It looks dirty, but it's clean. I cleaned it. It's got oil on it. You're supposed to coat them with oil after you clean them so that it stays tacky and catches dust. So last step, slide your seat on. And then it will go down here like that. And you can put your seat bolts in. All right. There it is, folks. So now the big question is, how many kicks is it going to take to start this thing? I do not know the answer to that. So, but we're going to find out here in just a second. We'll pull the choke on it. We'll try to get up on it without falling off the bucket. I bet you I'm going to crush this bucket. Yeah, this doesn't feel real secure. Oh yeah. All right, hang on, I'm gonna pull it off of this bucket. I don't have a good stand. Lucas got my stand. It's okay. So let's see. Can y'all see us there? Okay, let's see if I can fire this thing up. This will be a definite cold start. Let's whack the throttle a few times. I need to take the choke off. Oh, the choke did come off. Maybe that was my problem. All right. Whew. See if she'll start again. Oh, she wanted to. Let's put her back on choke. Whew, well, she starts. Carburetor probably needs a little adjustment. I'll see if I can work on that. I definitely got to buy that new little bolt that I broke. So, but anyway, that's how you do valve adjustment on the old CR250. All right, so that's it for the Honda 250, the 08 250. We got it put back together, got the valve shimmed on it. It wasn't that bad of a job. I had a buddy that had some shims, so I was able to run go get them and save me some time. I was able to do it over one night and then the next day after I went and got the shims from him, so that's cool. Always remember when you're when you're tightening up this bolt here, that it is real easy to break. So I broke one, had to go get some. You can get them from motorsports.com. That's where I bought them. They had a 2-for-1 sale, so I just got 2 of them. So anyway, if y'all know anybody that's looking for a good 08 RM250F, or I'm sorry, CR250F, it's a Honda, hit me up. It's a good bike, runs good. Anyway, like and subscribe. We love you, and we'll see you soon. Hey, I'm gonna show you Lucas's gear. This is Lucas's whole gear setup except his gloves. Check this out. We look like we got a freaking motocross rider now. He's got his boots on. Well, pull up your shirt. So let me see your pants. Turn around. Rider Company, Rider Co. He's got a Rider Co gear, a DBK Fly helmet, gloves, boots, helmet. Shoot, that boy's ready to go. And it matches his dirt bike. So anyway, guys, we love you, and we'll see you soon. Like and subscribe, and leave us a comment. All right, we'll talk to y'all later.